Dude, the question you asked was actually pretty interesting. Like, I don't even know if most people know how I met August. Really, what it was, you remember 3DMJ, right?
Of course. I actually guest posed with Alberto Nunez once. He's amazing.
Oh, dude, of course, the GOAT. You know, so 3DMJ, for the viewers who don't know, who's probably a lot of viewers now might not know 3DMJ. Basically, like early on, natural bodybuilding coaches, OGs back in the day, preaching macros when people were just like there's no fucking way you can eat whatever you want. You know what I mean? And
Alberto used to do things like melt a Snickers bar in a sweet potato.
Oh, exactly. And it got popular because, you know, at the time it was all boiled chicken breast and broccoli, and, you know, and that was it. And 6 meals a day. But they were kind of breaking down these myths and stuff. And that's kind of like what we kind of wanted to put out to the masses with LOA as well, and to kind of make people's lives easier. But anyway, digressing. Matt was going to compete in a bodybuilding show here in Sacramento, the same one that I was going to compete in. And he had Eric Helms as his coach from 3DMJ. And I was also working with 3DMJ, but Alberto Nunez was my coach. And so we basically, I knew he was going to do it, hit him up like, hey, you know, hope to see you at the show. I knew he had a good physique through some of the social media stuff he was posting. And so I was like, dude, I hope to see you there. You know, maybe we'll share the stage or whatever. And then did the show, immediate friendship. And then after that, you know, was when the idea for LOA came about pretty soon after. And then I vividly remember giving him that call, like, hey, Matt, bro, I got this idea. And just, you know, spitting LOA to him. And, you know, the rest was history, man. It was just, you know, friendship meant to be.
Yeah, you guys have been tight for a long time. Matt I remember his thing was he'd get ready for a show and he'd eat Chipotle like twice a day. And that was, I mean, people don't understand, like, before, and again, I'm more of a clean, flexible dieter. You know, I think there's, you know, my opinion on flexible dieting is that's not a free for all. That just means that you can fit a cookie in. You don't have to deprive yourself, right? But you still, you can lose weight eating butter and Twinkies, right? But you're looking at what are you looking to get from food? Are you looking to get macronutrients, micronutrients, overall health? So yeah, I'm a macronutrient guy, and that's why, you know, I get in fights with the carnivore guys all the time because like, calories don't matter. I'm like, I thought we proved this with Alberto. Not only did Alberto say that and they had data, but dude, when people look up like who's been the most shredded, natural, enhanced, you name it, like every one of those guys, me included, and I'm mostly a flexible dieter, man, we get more shredded than all the guys who eat the, you know, the chicken and the broccoli every meal or the set things. Like, you have to understand, like, flexible dieting was put a stamp of approval by the fact that people doing it simply got more shredded. Like, it was,
can't deny that, right?
No. Alberto was inside out, you know. August just competed, you know, and did well in a non-tested show. You know, it's like, so you get into that and you just look into it and you're like, wait a second, this sounds like bullshit. Like, they're eating Rice Krispies, but what the hell is that? You know, because Alberto would, I mean, I still don't think I've seen someone as shredded as him on stage. Like, his glutes were just like dry and it looked like he was taking diuretics and doing all the hardcore drugs, other than the fact he was like 150 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Like, people don't, he looked a lot bigger, but like, if you saw him in person and you put him next to like a drug guy, you'll be like, okay, now I get it. But when you see the photos, you're like, okay, that's insane. That's absurd. And I think it kind of changed the way bodybuilders diet.
Dude, because like when it comes to natural bodybuilding, right? Like Alberto Nunez, right? You would say he's in that category of just, you know, I mean, he's a professional natural bodybuilder. He's also like legendary in the sport of natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And so when you look at him, right, you look at, okay, his conditioning was his thing, right? That's what he was always known for. And then you start to realize, like, okay, that comparison about putting him next to like a mass monster, like a drug guy, whatever, like, natural guys don't have the luxury of banking on size. You know what I mean? Most natural bodybuilders, even elite ones, if you see them every day in their clothes, you're not even gonna like, you'd look past the fact that they even bodybuild, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like you walk by like, you know, Phil Heath or something, like you know they bodybuild, you know what I mean? It's different. So what now? So with that being said, what do you got? Conditioning. Like, what are you going to do to make yourself stand out on stage? Conditioning, right? So it's like, if I can be more peeled than that dude next to me and hey, just retain whatever muscle I can, I'm going to look the freakiest and the best. So then it just became a matter of just symmetry, right? Balance everywhere and conditioning. And then when you see, not only was, were these people getting the most condition, they're also having the most variety in their diet. It was a big, eye opener to where now, like you said, it's probably not even that weird for people to think like, oh, these dudes ate Chipotle and got shredded. Now it's acceptable. Now it's like, okay, I get it, because calories in, calories out, macros. Back then, that wasn't so widely accepted, right? It was still very bro.
Accepted at all. Kent Beerley, he's the president of ANBF. First time, like he's natural, like he just competed. He's like 60 something, like still looks great. And I remember we did the uprising, and that's where I guest posed with Alberto Nunez. And I remember somebody's like, yeah, these guys are eating Cocoa Pebbles. Kent's like, what? Somebody's eating Coke, the old school thing.
He's like pissed off. Yeah.
No, he was confused. Like he was legit like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Because the dogma, even with the natural community, is, chicken and rice. It just, there was no thinking outside that box. And at the end of the day, if you hit your macronutrients and you get in your good micronutrients, you have some room left over. Yeah, you can have some food that doesn't suck. It's okay to not hate your life. You can get shredded without hating your life. And I will argue that having that lack of stress from eating the same bullshit and hating your life, you're going to look better. Boom!